pretty damn good.
You look real good, brother.
No,
all right,
thanks.
we're live, brother.
Hey,
let me just play this intro real quick, all right?
This show is brought to you by the Deluxe Edition Network. Head over to the den.show for other great podcasts.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Deluxe Edition. We have a special edition here, a live edition. Joining me tonight with a very special guest is one half of the Wrestling Dorks, Sam Cavalieri, and then Buff Daddy himself, Mr. Buff Bagwell. How are you, sir?
What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Dude. Just imagine a freight train going 1,000 miles an hour. You got two choices, bro. You can hop off and go, I'm done with that. Or you can just put some more coal in there, bro. And so I'm just putting more coal in it. The problem is it's been tough, bro. The DDPY crib thing has changed my life. It's really has done tremendous things for me, but at the same time, you know, it's a big deal, dude. I just got home from the road, and you know, they say time flies when you're having fun. Let me tell you something. Can I cuss or not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Time flies no matter what the fuck. It flies, period. Whether you're having a good time, bad time, it don't matter. It still fucking flies. But still, point is it was a really good weekend because you see I've stayed in shape, and I'm in shape real good and feel good about myself and everything. I'm clean and everything's great. And of all things, me and Dallas didn't even know it, but he was at the signing I was at yesterday. And so it was like he was able to go like, look at my boy, look at my boy here, look what I've done, And I don't do no podcasts no more with glasses. I want people to see me. I want them to see this Marcus Bagwell. I want them to see that I'm back. And that means something to me. And it's fun again. It's not, it got where it wasn't fun for me anymore. And I wouldn't say it wasn't fun anymore. It was just less fun. And then all of a sudden it became fun. And it was just by complete, I'm not a Bible beater, but at the same time, it's God, because the WWE, I'm the only wrestler in the history of pro, or well, not to exaggerate, of the going to rehab and them paying for it era. I'm the only one they've ever told no to. So I went, what? Several names I don't want to say have gone several times, and everybody out there knows who those names are. But they're my friends, so I don't want to say their names. But at the same time, I go to them the first time after they fired me after a week and told a bunch of lies about me, like, my mom called. Who gets their mother a call when you're trying to get into the WWF? Come on. Not WWE, bro. WWF. Hey, Mom, can you call and get me? Are you kidding? It's just, but here's the sad part. People believed it. So, long story short, I feel great. I really wasn't that bad, but I wanted to show everyone that Mark was still here. Mark Bagwell. And Mark Bagwell is here. And Mark Bagwell accidentally didn't really know what was coming, got excited, and really got back into things, and he's digging it. So
yeah, and And do you want Mark, Buff, however you want me to address you?
Let me explain how that works. If I hear I didn't go by Marcus when I was a kid. All the way through high school, I was Mark Bagwell. All from kindergarten to high school, Mark Bagwell. So if I hear Mark at the airport, I stop in my tracks and start looking, because that's somebody I've known for a real long time. And if I hear Marcus, that could be, that's what the guys call me. They either call me Buff or Marcus. And like Steen calls me Marcus. Lex calls me Buff. You know, so it's just, it's the name thing. I got 3 names, in other words.
I'll roll with Buff. And
yeah, I think it's the best thing. This is Buff.
We'll kind of get into a little bit of what you were talking about with the whole WWF stint, you know, when you went over there. But I think it would be remiss if we didn't talk about today. And again, if this is, you know, I know it's a tough day. It's Mother's Day. You know what I mean? And I know you lost your mom, you know, last year. And
believe it or not, I had a talk with my first wife today about that. She is a mother, and she said, "Are you okay?" And I went, "About what?" And she goes, "Today being Mother's Day." And I knew today was Mother's Day, of course. But because I call all of my family, nieces, aunts, sister-in-laws, I call everybody when this mother, because let me tell you something, bro. A mother deserves a Mother's Day, bro. I mean, it's a big deal to be a mom, man. It just is. It's a big deal. And so I always have called them every year. They'll tell you I call, you know, and say Happy Mother's Day, you know, and just I love you, and you know. But when I was 11 or 12 years old, my grandmother died, and my whole family was crying about it, and I found myself not wanting to, not even close to crying. But I felt like I was doing something wrong at 11 like that. When your dad and your brothers are crying and you're not. So I remember actually trying to like fake like I was crying because I felt bad. But I didn't know why I didn't feel upset. Well, the reason for me is it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. And we're not driving. We're not driving this car, bro. We think we are. And we try to drive it, but we're not. And she was suffering from dementia. And then she catches COVID, of all things. And to me, it was just, I mean, she was calling my dad mother. And it ripped my lungs out every time she said it. I mean, I was like, I didn't know what to. And the catch was at her beginning stages, she wanted us to tell her the truth, she said. So she'd go, Mom. And I go, your mother is dead. And she would bust out crying. So, of course, we learned that, okay, that's not going to work. That's not the right way to go. But as Bagwells, we just don't lie. These podcasts I do, go back and listen to every story I've ever told. There's no sway of making it different. It's exactly the same story. And let me tell you something, bro. You don't see no pen and pad here. It's easy to mess up a lie. but you can't mess up the truth, bro. And the truth is, when you tell a true story, to repeat it, and if it's detailed and you tell it the same several times, people start trusting you and believing in you. And that's kind of what happened here. And with my mom, to this day, and there's going to be some people maybe that take this wrong, I've cried, but I don't think maybe not down like tears that run down my face. I was upset. I knew I lost a wonderful person. I knew that she was the greatest mom in the world to us. I mean, she did things for us, and she was just the best. I mean, I want to cry right now talking about it.
Yeah, and
but it was her time.
Right. No, completely understand. And us wrestling fans out here, I mean, let's talk a little bit about, how rare is it that, your mom gets involved in a storyline? How did that whole come to be? Like, talk us through, like, how does your mom get into a storyline? And we're not talking, the indies here. We're talking WCW.
We're talking about the number one rated television show in the world. Matter of fact, I want to call and ask him, but Rick Steiner called me up and he goes, "What do you think about your mom being?" I said, "What?" And he goes, "Well, I mean, you broke your neck in Colombia. You should have been a baby face. You could have been the most over baby face in the world. They turned you heel, which was, I think, the wrong decision, but they did." And he goes, "And then you're coming back to the same city for, after you break your neck. And now this is the wide overalls. I'm trying to hike. I lost 40 pounds, 50 pounds. Scotty's, jacked, and I've lost 50. So I'm wearing shirts and, overalls and top hats and trying to come up with different things to be cool." And so Rick calls me up with this idea. So Rick Steiner thought of it. And if you remember back in the 1998 era, we'll call it, women were not in wrestling. They just wasn't. They wasn't in it. Missy Hyatt was an announcer. There was the York Foundation, Dustin's ex-wife. There was a few, Scary Sherry. Think about it, bro. You probably count on one hand. Medusa.
Yeah.
One hand, maybe. Now you turn WWE on, and it's every match. So Scotty was dead against women being in wrestling. Dead against it. He said, "Keep her away from me," is what he told me. And I said, "Bro, she's not even coming in the ring." Because that was the gimmick. But Rick comes up with a gimmick that blows my mind. And it just kind of took off from there. But when we got to Columbia, I lost the Judy Bagwell lumber company, 200 men employees, men truck drivers, standing at attention, getting sailor cussed by this woman going, "Nope, not a computer in sight. We're talking clipboards and paperwork, and I remember a kid watching it, and these guys are like just standing at attention, if you didn't have a pin on you, you got fired immediately. We're talking about $1 million a month lumber company. In the late 70s, early 80s, bro, that's huge. And they did it for 17 years. We ran that thing.
Wow.
Well, we get to Columbus, South Carolina, and that Judy goes away. And I went, "Baby, listen to me." I pulled her to the side. I go, "I got to kick out. You got to kick out, baby girl. You got to kick out. She goes, well, I said, no. I can see your face. You're not. I said, and I get it. We're getting ready to go out in front of millions of people and this and that and blah, 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 blah. I said, but you got to kick out. Couldn't get her, man. And keep in mind, I'm having to do stuff backstage. And
this was right before she went out?
Right before her first appearance ever. And I'm having to go Jimmy Hart to finish my song that they wrote for me, where I go, I'm buff and I'm the stuff, and all that stuff during the song. Buff Daddy, all that crap. So I'm doing that during all this too and trying to pull her out. So I go to Dad. My father was there too. And I go, bro, talk to her, man. I can still see she wasn't there. So it is what it is now. There's no turning back. We get out to the ring. And me and Scotty are doing our heel interview in Columbus, South Carolina, where I broke my neck. And now I'm not broken neck and I'm back and I'm not wrestling, but I'm managing Scotty and we're a team and we're with it. And all of a sudden Rick comes out and says, I got somebody here that don't think that's so funny. Steiner talks. He said, I don't think it's so, she don't think it's very funny. And we were like, who is it? And he goes, it's your mother. Not mother, mother. And I went, what? And all of a sudden, here she come out. She come to the ring. The thing was, climb the steps, get on the apron, and us have an argument about me being a bad boy, basically, turning bad against all the fan mail and all the people that prayed for me and all that stuff. And I turned against them, and she still wasn't there. The Southeastern Building Supply lumber yard, Judy Bagwell, was not there. And so I had to go somewhere that she knew, and I think 90% of anybody watching or listening knew was the truth. But I had to do it to kick her out. And I said, listen, old lady. I said, without me, you couldn't even eat. And here she come inside the ring. And I went, oh, shit. And she goes straight to Scott Steiner. And Scott almost breaks her wrist. He just bends her hand over, like, get away from me, you crazy bitch. So she comes to me, open hand slaps me, and I'm like, yes, I got her. Grabs me by the ear, drags me out, and then this is what got her over. She throws me into the go position and then turns around. Nobody told her to do this. I guess maybe it's where I got it from or whatever, genes or whatever. And she turned around and just went to the crowd. And the crowd went crazy. They went crazy. So from that point on, bro, she was, if wrestling was real to this day, she would be the tag team champions of the world. Her and Rick Steiner would still be the tag team champions.
Yeah, see, and I figure with us doing this on Mother's Day, that's one of the top mother's moments in wrestling history. So I definitely wanted to touch on that. Going back, you really got in WCW your start. A lot of tag team wrestling. And I think people most though remember of the tag teams, the American Males. I feel like that's the team everybody remembers. Why do you think it's so memorable? Because you guys didn't tag that long for that long a period of time. You know what I mean? It wasn't like guys were tagging forever.
We actually didn't. And, but keep in mind, that was my idea. And they were so against it. I said, listen to me. I said, back in our era, beards, earrings, and things like that, that was a heel. I said, that's cool now, guys. I'm telling you. I'm trying to tell the company this. So I said, I'm telling you, we can make this work. They turned it down. I go home, shave my goatee off. Terry Taylor calls me and goes, do you still got your goatee? And I go, I just shaved it. He goes, how long do you can grow it back? And I said, a couple of days. He goes, well, I have it grown out by Orlando. And I go, why? He goes, just have it grown out. And I said, I need no more than that, bro. So he told me a little more. So we do the video. We go down to little 5 points where all the kind of cool stuff is, like dangly earrings and the cross earrings and the chokers, all the stuff that is heelish. I knew we could make it cool and fun, and it'd be baby facious, and they didn't believe it. And what happened next was NWO wearing everything black, doing everything wrong. And what happened? We got over as baby faces. So I think the generation was just I'm not saying I knew that or saw the future or nothing, but it just really was time that a goatee wasn't a heel. A beard was a heel. A good-looking guy with a goatee and a beard, and some cheesy stuff was not a heel. It could be babyface. So they actually bought into my whole thing. But the best I could do, and I did all my outfits and every one of my tag teams. I'm the one that came up with all of them. I'm not saying that they couldn't have. They just let me do it, and I wanted to do it, and so I did it. And with that one, though, with American Males, it was jeans, black and white sequins down the sides. He wore white boots. I wore black. And then, so it was a black-white thing, to keep, like a team. Like when we did the suspenders, he wore white, I wore black. He had the white boots on, I had the black boots on. And so it just worked. And what's old is new. I mean, the American Male song right now is so over.
Yeah, who did Jimmy Hart do that too?
Jimmy Hart. We just talked about it just yesterday. Me and Jimmy Hart talked about it because he wrote that.
He's
and
done
you know what?
so much music.
Without the words, it's a great one. So it's actually really good. But the words are a little too many. Little too many American Males.
You actually mentioned where I was kind of going to go next. You mentioned the NWO. And I don't know if everybody remembers that's watching but you weren't buff until, the NWO.
What? Even I forget that sometimes.
Yeah. It's a thing that you don't really, you think about you, and I really in my mind think, Marcus Alexander Bagwell, American Males, and he's always been, buff Bagwell, but you weren't buff until you joined the NWO. Now you were, I guess during that storyline, they put out like hey, we're opening up membership, to the WCW. You can apply, and you were the first guy that they accepted,
right,
during their membership drive. So how did the name? When did you guys decide? Like, all right, you're going to be the first guy in that group to join. You're going to become buff, and how pumped were you to be like part of the hottest storyline in professional wrestling?
Well, what happened is we were actually in Salisbury, Maryland, and Kevin Nash and me were real good friends. He was an Atlanta boy, I was an Atlanta boy too. He was like the big badass bouncer, like Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse, So every time that something came up like that, he was always the one he was always the bouncer at every new club that opened and everything. And so he come back to the back and he goes, "Hey man, what's going on?" I go, "Hey, what's up, man?" He goes, "Not much." He goes, "Do you want to be in the NWO?" I go, "Are you kidding me?" I go, "Well, hell yeah, I do." And he goes, "Well," he said, we're gonna let you in the group tonight." And I was like, "You're kidding me." He goes, "No." So I think I was like number 6 or 7.
Yeah. Yep.
Before it got watered down, And they watered it down and it got really bad. But when he asked me, dude, it was like, oh my God. And then I could see Scotty's look on his face. It was like, oh my God, this is it for me. I'm done. It's over. It's totally over for me, But it wasn't. And Scotty still had a pretty good little run after that with the flock and all that. But at the same time, it was just, something I was not going to obviously turn down. If you remember, I'll tell you what night it was, and you'll remember this for sure. It was the night that Eric went, "You got 30 days to join the NWO or you're fired." And so about that time is when me and Scotty Riggs came walking out. And I remember Tony Schiavone's exact words were, "Uh-oh, looks like we got a taker." And I was like talking to Scotty, like, "Look, bro, I'm joining, I'm going." He was trying to talk me out of it. And that was kind of the storyline, And then I got in the ring with all that talent, bro. And what that was like to see Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, the Giant, Scott Hall, all these superstars. And all of a sudden, I'm in the ring with them, bro. It was like, wow. What? Wow. I mean, what else do you say besides that, And so they, I turned on Scotty, and I always loved Rick Rude. And I gave him the Rude Awakening. And that's where the Blockbuster came from. I actually just came up with the more creative. I wanted to come off the ropes and do it. So we just did a little switch to it, made it a little different. But really, it was like the, Rick Rude's finish. We just did it off the ropes, and it made it work. And Disco Inferno, believe it or not, is who came up with that name, the Blockbuster, and it kind of stuck. And to this day, guys on WWE do it like for a high spot, like it's just a little spot. And it ain't about to say, "Well, there's the Buff Blockbuster." They're not gonna say that by no means up there, but they say, "That's the Blockbuster," and there's a lot of guys that do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you say, like, when you were joining, did they say, we're going to tweak, or did your name, or you said, "Hey, why don't I go as Buff?" Or did somebody in the NWO say, "We got to give you a nickname"?
Was on the way home from Seattle. I knew that Marcus Alexander Bagwell was not. I knew that from the beginning, but it still worked. Marcus Alexander Bagwell worked, and Dusty Rhodes named that, and that is my real name. But he just said Marcus Alexander Bagwell with a Rookie of the Year. I mean, you being a rookie and from Marietta, Georgia. Because I'm telling you, bro, with those pretty teeth, he goes, and everything. I'm telling you right now, it'll work, baby. It'll work. I said, "Dusty, it's not gonna work." This is during the time of gimmicks and everybody had a gimmick. And I come out as Marcus Alexander Bagwell. I was like, "Come on, Dusty, this is horrible." And he goes, "No, we'll do it. We're gonna do it." So we did it. But then when I joined them, I realized I needed like a Rock. I needed a Stone Cold. I needed a name. So we're on the airplane in first class. And the reason why I say first class is because we were all setting up and just talking together. And it was a red eye. And we're talking and we're trying to figure out a name. And I, to be honest with you, I can't think of one name that we came up with, but we came up with a 50. And it just didn't quite fit. Okay. All of a sudden, way back in first class, in the dark, we hear a voice go, "What about Buff?" And let's just say nobody else said another word.
Yeah, I knew it.
It was Nick Patrick.
Okay, wow.
Nick Patrick is who came up with Buff Bagwell. And it came up with Buff. And we were like, oh my God, Buff Bagwell? That's perfect. So, of course, I went straight home, airbrushed everything Buff. And next thing you know, keep in mind, even the top stars, we were all out there together. We all kind of looked alike, kind of. So shit, I put Buff on the back of my shirt. I wanted people to know who I was.
Right.
I wanted to stand out, or at least try to, and not trying to dog anybody or done anybody. Just, God, this is a really great opportunity. I'm gonna try to, let people see it's me. And it was such a great name that Nick came up with that we were like, God, this is it. And then when I really did get really in shape, really got ripped, it was really cool because, I'm buff and I'm the stuff. And then it got to be, I'm buff, I'm the stuff, and the girls can't get enough. Just anything that rhymed. Dude.
Yeah.
For some reason, everything rhymed with buff.
It was perfect.
It was. Just yesterday, a guy goes, I remember one of my favorite things you ever did. I go, what's that? He goes, you came out one night and you go, I'm buff and I'm in Buffalo. And I remembered it instantly. And it was funny. And the guy said, bro, I didn't write his. Did you write that down or something? I go, no. I said, that stuff just comes to you, if you got, a little bit of charisma and you got a little brain. I mean, you put a little something together. And I just said, I think at first it was, I remember going to Scotty Riggs, I'd say, which I named Scotty Riggs. I came up with Riggs because that's when Lethal Weapon came out.
Okay.
That's where Riggs came from. Riggs and Murtaugh was
Yep.
And I came up with, his real name was Scott Anton, and I came up with Riggs. And the whole room, Sting, the Nasty Boys, and Orlando, they were like, that sounds great. So Scotty Riggs is that's where it came from. So it's just crazy how things happen, man. And you look back at him like you're talking about right now. But he went on to be Scotty Riggs the rest of his career,
You mentioned, you were friends with Big Kevin Nash. How was it? What type of relationship did you have at all, or how was it working with Hogan and the late great Scott Hall?
Scott was, everybody was great. We were really, 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 truly like a gang, like a at first. Before it got watered down, it really was like a team, guys that were working together and cared and we were all that. But like Scott even would help me. He goes, Scott had God rest his soul, he had skinny calves. Well, so do I. And he
we got a friend like that too.
And he said, and I don't know if you know this or not, but medically, in a medical book, calves are the most genetic body part there is. If you see a guy with calves, He ain't never done a calf raise to get them. He didn't build them up. It was genetics, bro. It's genetics. It's all it is. And and usually for some reason, I don't know why, it's always fat dudes that got great calves.
We know a guy
they're always
too.
Right here, man. It's all that walking. It's all that walking, that weight it has to carry.
I guess so. I don't know, but it is it is the most out of the human body. Medically, it is the most genetic body part there is. In other words, you got it or you don't. Kind of like my back being big. That's genetics. It's not. People ask me, well, how do I get my back like yours? I go, you can't. They go, what do you mean you can't? I said, I can show you some exercise to make it bigger, but it ain't going to be as big as mine. I mean, I was out there with big boys, but nobody had a back like mine. Nobody. And it's because of genetics. I don't know why. My dad got a good back and stuff, but it's genetics. And you look back on those things, you go, like you said, you go, how the hell did I come up with that? But I didn't. It was Nick Patrick came up with that, with the the bug thing, and then I came up with Scotty Riggs, and so it just all this is and we're having a blast doing it. Dude. We sit there from 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock every day till showtime. You got to try to do something, entertain yourself.
Yeah, bonding over lack of calves sounds like
right. Well, here's why though. I was a calf freak, so I talked about them a lot. I'd be like, I had calf surgery that went bad.
See, you had the implants, right?
I had implants.
Yeah,
and they went bad, or I say went bad. They medically, what happened is it's called Compartment Syndrome. Every one of your muscles have a compartment. In other words, your bicep has a compartment, your calf does, your chest does, and that compartment, you stretch. If you stretch, that compartment gets bigger and allows your muscle to get bigger. That's why they always say stretch, stretch, stretch. And I was a real good stretcher, and that's why one reason why my back was so big too is because I stretched after every single set, But things just happen in this business crazily, and but God, we had so much fun doing them, It's just a bunch of guys. Just imagine hanging out with a bunch of. One day it was on the golf course, me and Steen were, and I was like, "Don't you feel a little bit guilty about playing golf today? Making $300,000? I mean, he's probably making $7." And he goes, "Nope." He goes, "I sure don't." I said, I went 4. Like, okay. So, but those guys that's how I took my advice from the top talent guys,
So, after the NWO, everybody knows kind of that storyline. You say got watered down, ends up playing out kind of the whole thing with Russo and everything comes in. WCW falls apart. Vince ends up buying WCW. Kind of what we were talking about when we first opened the show. You were the first guy that basically took I don't know exactly how it went down, but I guess, they had offered buyouts to wrestlers, come wrestle for us. And I think you were the first guy to agree to do it. What?
Actually, that's not true at all. And I just hate to I'm not saying that to be ugly to you at all. I'm just telling you so you know the facts.
Go ahead,
Facts are the reason why you saw Dallas, Booker T, and Buff Bagwell first is because our contracts were up. And the guys you didn't see at first were guys that had like a year left on the contract.
Yeah, could sit at home.
They can sit at home, get paid,
yeah,
and not have to worry about anything. And I've done the same thing. I got to sit at home about 2 months and made about, 60, 80, I can't remember now. It was either 60 or 80 grand I could have made. And I had so much heat because you got to realize WCW knew Marcus Bagwell. So all the guys there loved Marcus Bagwell because we're all friends. We're all buddies. Nobody knew Mark Bagwell up there. Nobody knew him. So when I went up there, I had all this heat and I was like, God dang, what am I going to do, So I came up with an idea. I said, you know what? I said, I'm not going to sit at home like the other guys. I said, I'm going to give Vince 60 grand and show him I'm a team player, not have him pay $60,000 more and join up right now and hop aboard. Not sure what Booker did, not sure about his contract. I'm telling you, some shape, form, or fashion, though, the reason why you saw Booker, Dallas, and Buff Bagwell first is because of contracts. Because the rest of the guys you didn't see had either just redone their deals or didn't need it, or whatever. It's just one of those things. So they said at home and got paid. But we couldn't do that. So I said, look, 60 grand ain't nothing when you're talking about, a couple million. I said, so I'm looking at the couple million. I ain't looking at 60 grand.
Right.
Let's look at the couple million I'm hoping to get. So I gave him the 60 grand. I don't give it to him. I said, look, Vince, I'll come aboard. You ain't got to pay me the 60. I want to show you that I really mean what I'm here. I'm here for real and want to be here. And I'm willing to lose $60,000 and not sit at home and, cost you $60,000 more dollars. I said, just to have, everything, turn out okay. I told my agent that. He was like, that's the smartest thing you've ever came up with in your life. That's great. I was fired in a week.
Yeah.
I was like, can I get my 60 grand back? Please?
Yeah, there's a lot of, you brought it up at the beginning, there was a lot of speculation, it goes on the internet and stories get out there and whatever. You mentioned, got your mom calling and you had that match on, I think it was Raw with Booker T. And then it was like within a week later, you were gone. What really went down? What was because there's all the different stories floating around. So what actually happened?
What actually happened is me and Booker T knew that Atlanta, first of all, they tried to blame my mom, Colin, and the match being bad. I'll sit down with that match right now with any of you guys, Vince McMahon, Ted Turner, anybody that knows wrestling at all, the best workers in the world. And there was nothing wrong with that match, bro. Right, here's the things that, let me tell you the things that nobody knows about. Nobody knows about things like my music was playing and I go out and a hand stops me and goes, you can't look in the camera. And I went, do what? It was Shane McMahon. And I said, Shane, have you ever seen me wrestle? I go, that's all I do. I said, I wear a top hat. I look in the camera. I'm funny. I said, I give a decent match and we go home. I said, that's all I do. He goes, can you do it here? So think about this. Go home tonight or sometime this week or sometime. Do it, don't do it, whatever. Whoever's listening. Realize I go through a match and never looked in the camera one time. Buff Bagwell didn't look in the camera once. After looking in every camera he could find for 5 years. So stuff like that, people didn't know. And then we get booed out of the building, which is horrible. And the next week, guess where we're at? Atlanta. Oh. Now you're Vince McMahon, okay? and you bought this company and you're going to call it the invasion. And you're going to put Booker T and Buff Bagwell in a match for the first match of something that nobody thought would ever happen, which is WCW and WWF bonding, going together. Are you going to put them in Tacoma? Or are you going to put them in Atlanta, Georgia? I say you wait a week and put them in Atlanta.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Well, they didn't. So we're backstage. Me and Booker are backstage like this. We're going, what the hell? We wrestling here. You know? Of course, we're main event on Raw. We ain't going to go up to Vince and ask him about it. Can't do that. So we're just having to do what we were told to do. And which was, go out in Tacoma and do the first match of the invasion. So the biggest match of what they wanted to do was in Tacoma, Washington, instead of Atlanta and Ted Turner's backyard. So it just didn't make sense to me whatsoever, or nobody. But people don't say stuff like that. They just act like, oh yeah, well, it's just, it went from podcasts, it went from interviews and stuff saying, people literally believing 100%, my mom called, people believing 100% that the match was bad, to go to now I do podcasts, they go, you know what? That match wasn't bad at all. I just watched it the other day. That match was actually pretty good. So it went from horrible, bad enough to get fired to being a pretty good match. So it's just amazing what people will take in and believe.
So
and they did.
You get fired, like you said, and some of the people watching probably know, some may not, but this isn't like basketball or baseball where you get released and you still get your pay on your contract. Right. You're gone. Whatever deal what deal did you have coming in? What was the deal going to be? 3 years, 2 years?
I think it was 2 years, 175 to 225, coming off $1 million contract. Right. So there goes the house, there goes the car. Don't get me wrong, making $175,000 a year, that's a ton of money. But it ain't when you're making $1 million. Right.
And you were hoping to go into WWF, get over, and then the next deal would be the big one, and then you're cut, your legs are cut out before you can even really get it going. It's just a tough thing to happen. I cry. It was all I could do to wait to cry till I got to my car. I got to my car and just completely just bursted into tears because it was over. I knew it was over. Right, just like that. It was over. The car I was in was gone. The house I was driving to was gone. Everything was over. And I had to somehow make it okay and positive and stick with it and do the right thing and all that. And it was really tough, man. It was hard. And of all people, the last people I saw leaving the Georgia Dome that night, the last people I saw was Chris Benoit and Woman. Last two I saw. And Chris just had his neck surgery done. And he had the foamy sea collar on, And he's like, where are you going, man? And I didn't want to cry until I got in my car. And I started crying a little bit, trying not to. And I said, dude, I just got fired. And he goes, what? I said, bro. He goes, no, you didn't. I said, well, they try to act like I got released and they're going to bring me back in 3 months. But let me tell you, somebody's been in business for 11 years and survived 5 bosses. 3 of them wanted to fire me the first time they met me. And that is, I'm fired. And they're trying to call it released. And I even raised my hand in the meeting and was like, what's the difference? What is the difference? They said, Mark, you don't got to raise your hand. I said, I feel like I got to. I go,
what's the difference of being fired or released? And when they had an answer for that, it was time to stand up, start shaking hands, and exit the room. And that was, they said, just like, well, if we release you, we can bring you back in 3 months and not redo your contract. If we fire you, we got to redo your contract and all that stuff. And it's,
We lost you. We lost your volume. Can you hear us, Buff? We can't hear you. I think it muted. We see you, but we can't hear
Nope,
you.
not yet.
Now we can hear you. Oh no, it's Casey. No,
Nope.
Still no.
Am I supposed to call you? Okay.
I don't know what happened there. I think it got muted somehow on his screen.
Little
I think.
technical difficulties there with Buff.
I think maybe like if he's on a phone maybe or a tablet and he touches it, maybe it muted. But good.
There he is. Oops.
Yeah. Well, some great stuff. You can jump in with fan questions. I got a couple other things, but it's when we can get into as well. Obviously Buff has been quite the guy on Twitter over the past month, like one of the trending wrestlers. So
how about now?
Yeah, there he is.
We got you.
Perfect.
For some reason, I'm on my phone because I couldn't get my computer wasn't charged, and when somebody calls in, the volume goes off, and I don't know why. So sorry about that.
No problem.
All good, brother.
Yep. So I was just saying to Casey, kind of jumping around. I know we were there at kind of like the end of WWF, and I know you bounced around and worked a while after that, but you've been kind of the talk of wrestling Twitter for the past month. Your comeback. So tell us a little bit about that. Getting on Twitter. It kind of coincides with hooking up with DDP. And tell us about that.
I've never done Twitter, never had done anything like that at all. And I got a manager that called me up and it's like, hey, look, let's do this. When WWE at the time turned me down for rehab, I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to quit. I'm going to get clean myself. So we started a podcast called Rebuilding Buff. And when we started the podcast Rebuilding Buff, about this almost exact same time, Dallas Page called me up and said, we're doing this show called Change or Die. Do you want to be part of it? I said, hell yeah. I said, let's do it, man. So it all coincided. And then the same thing happened with my manager of, trying to help me get out there, get back out there again. And it went from, like I said earlier, it went from not having fun doing this to having fun again. And I mean, all the Twitter fans, they were like having a blast showing the elder, Marcus Bagwell, Uncle Buff, as they call me, and Wholesome Buff, like teaching me almost bad words,
I saw you were learning about all the hip new language.
Yeah, all the hip new language. I didn't know what a meme was, and they had to show me, had to tell me. But for some reason, it really took off. Like they were showing, their uncle, the new wave. like from fax to text. I mean, that kind of thing, and they kind of got off on it, and it worked, and I just kept going with it, and it's got bigger and bigger. And then I took up for a person, and when I did,
Nyla, are you talking about Nyla?
Nyla, I took up for Nyla Rose, and when I did it, I went from I went to sleep, woke up, I had 10,000 more followers.
Damn.
Just from me speaking the truth. I just said, look, bro, I mean, if you're happy, let them be happy. Whatever
Right.
you do, I don't care what it is. This life's too short and it's too hard. I said, if you're happy, let that person go, man. Let it be happy. And I took up for her, and it worked, and it wasn't like I knew that was going to work and get me popular again. I just was being me. I was being Mark. I was being sober Mark. And by doing that and all of it coming together, just kind of all came together at the same time. And next thing you know, I was literally, almost as popular as I was during the NWO. I mean, it's crazy. It's nuts. My phone don't stop ringing, bro. It's nuts.
Yeah, so
And
you're
I love it.
Yeah, you're out there. You said you're working shows. Does this possibly lead to a in-ring return somewhere down the line?
There's 100% no doubt that. It's just my knees a lot worse than people know. But not now, but it was. I mean, from the beginning, but it's still bad. I'd say within 4 months, I'm going to be back in the ring. I mean, I'm in ring shape body-wise right now, but because I don't miss working out, and I'm doing DDPY, and that's all I do, and I'm still really in shape. And I've learned so much from being down there that you can do a lot less and get a lot further if you just put the time in. Don't get me wrong, DDPY is magic, but you still got to put the time in, bro. You still got to put the time in. And I put the time in, of course. And so I've been able to keep my size and everything while living with 4 strangers. And that we all became friends and a family. And that's what we call ourselves. We call ourselves the fam. And, it just, and don't get me wrong, it started off real shaky. It was tough. I mean, it's hard to live with anybody. It's hard to live with your wife. It's hard to live with your best friend. Eventually, you're going to butt heads. That's just a fact. And
and this is 3 other or 4 other people that are trying to get clean as well, correct?
Well, no, everybody's got different things. Like
okay.
Yeah, everybody's got something different. Like one kid, 22, and he came in at 5:20.
Somebody's calling.
Let's get another call again. Buff will be back in 1 second.
Yeah.
Whenever he seems to get a phone call, he jumps
It sounded
off.
like he was about to tell us the different, I guess I'm sure, folks come in, for extreme weight loss.
I'm back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but he was 5'20", bro.
Holy shit.
22 years old, 5'20".
And he wasn't 7'4" like Andre the Giant?
No, he's like my height or shorter.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's like, oh my gosh, it's horrible, but he's a super great guy. But we've, as a fam, we've stuck together and we help him. And I mean, he's like about 2 weeks ago, he made it around the whole house walking. At first, bro, it was just standing up for 30 minutes.
Right.
out sitting down. You're 520 pounds, bro. I mean, people don't realize that's unbelievable. That's not good. And he knows it too, but his parents kind of done it the wrong way and everything else, but still at the same time, he he didn't know how to do several things that I won't mention, but it was just things he should have known, but he just was neglected. And they just kept feeding him food to keep him out of the way.
Right.
Ended up being, an out of shape kid that was going to die. And so, he's a great kid, man. We call him T-Dog. And he's just a great, great guy.
No, that's awesome. It sounds like, everything so far is, there's been so many success stories, with DDP.
Dallas touches turns to success. Everything, bro. He really does. I mean, everything he touches, it turns to gold. And that don't come from just an accident. It comes from him being who he is and him being so positive. I mean, the name of his book is Positively Unstoppable. Give me either one of those words in front of my name and I'm going to thank you. But positively unstoppable. I mean, that's two of the best words in the world.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's him. He's not going to stop. He's made it. He's gotten rich in two things that everybody in the world would have bet against him on. And everybody did. And that was wrestling and yoga. And everybody, I mean, I saw Lex laugh at him 1,000 times. We used to make fun of him when he rolled his little mat out by the ring and poses and, everything. We're like, you idiot, go to the gym. Look at us. And now look at us. I'm on a crutch. Lex, and then now Dallas is doing a handstand. So I mean, I'm telling you, bro, he just caught on to something that I saw and talked to him several times that he wasn't even sure, but he just stuck with it and it because he believed in it and it paid off and it did again. But he's just positive about everything and he's such a great guy. He just loves anybody that loves other people. If you love other people, then Dallas Page is going to love you because he's that kind of guy. He really is a true blue. Take his coat off for you kind of guy. He's just unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, Buff, we're going to jump into a bunch of, we have a ton of fan questions here for you.
Okay.
Somebody jumping back a little bit here. I didn't want to pop this up while you were talking, but they wanted to know why did they boo the Booker match, or why do you think that the fans booed the Booker T match in WWF?
You know what? I've never been asked that question, and to be honest with you, I've thought about it several times, but they booed all of us. It was really weird. They booed Shane. They booed Stacy Keibler. They booed Arn and Scott Hudson when they came out to announce the match. They booed, for some reason, Booker had both belts, but I was last. I don't know why. Because always the champ always goes last,
Yeah.
But for some reason, I was last and got told not to look at the camera, so I was thrown off base. And then I'm hearing all these boos. I'm going, I've never been booed like that in my life. Even as Marcus Alexander Bagwell at the Baltimore Arena, I never got booed like that. I mean, it was unbelievable. And so to answer the question, I don't really know because Booker was extremely over. I mean, we were the main event on Raw. They obviously thought we were over. We thought we were more over than that but I mean, I'm talking about the whole crowd. But that's what I'm trying to say. Again, then why put us in Tacoma when you could have waited just 7 days?
Right.
Made it off the chain. I mean, do you know how many matches you go look at right now that me and Booker don't miss a step, which we didn't that night either. But we've always had great chemistry. Our matches are always fantastic. And I'm wrestling with every one of my tag team champions, everyone. And I got more than anybody. Check your books, check your Alexa, check anything you want. Nobody has more championships with as many partners that I have. And I'm blessed for it. So don't think I'm trying to be cool about it. I'm blessed because it allowed me. Because do you think Lex wrestles like Too Cold? Do you think Riggs wrestled like Scott Norton?
Right.
Do you think, Norton wrestled like Scorpio? Any mix you want to do, it's so I had to adapt, which made me, I feel like, a better worker because I was the smaller one, so I was the one always, kind of doing the sell and giving the hot tag to the big man, and that was fine. That was my spot. That was my area, and but I it was a WWF show, and keep in mind at that time it was WWF. So don't think I'm crazy when I'm saying that. I always want to say that when I say it to make sure people think I'm crazy because it was the WWF at that time. And because I worked for both. But even before I was fired, I worked for both. And but they were like, I don't know, it just all they had to do is wait a week and we would have got, I think, a complete roof coming off the place, pop. Instead, we do it in Tacoma, Washington. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Vince does a lot of shit that nobody knows why he does it. All right, I have a couple rapid fire questions for you of my own before we get into the rest of the fan questions that I have for you. Have you ever partied with the Iron Sheik?
Never.
All right. Favorite wrestling town?
I'd say you gotta remember that's 30 years thinking, so give me a second so I can get can we go state?
Sure.
State would be Kansas. Missouri, because it seemed like we were always there. We always were in Kansas City and St. Joe and just all the little towns around Kansas City, around Missouri. So it seemed like we were always there. The Midwest, we were always there. But favorite actual place would, I'd say Atlanta because I'm from here. But I hated coming to Atlanta because that meant I had to get a bunch of tickets and everybody would, get in the back and can we come with you? Can we ride? I hated wrestling in Atlanta, but I enjoyed it for the fans, but I hated it because of what I had to go through.
Right. Well, that's interesting because that's not a state that you hear, like when people are asked that a lot. I've never really heard about Missouri being a big wrestling state.
Check all you want. Check your books, and I'm telling you, WCW was in Missouri a lot.
Cool.
We were a lot. I can tell you where every gym's at right now. I can tell you where all the food places are still. I mean, I got it in my head right now thinking of where the gym was and where the Applebee was and where the and so we were always Kemper Arena. You know, that's where Owen died. You know,
Yes, when you said that, that's what everybody, first thing think of. Yeah,
Owen died. You know, so we were. Hey, this talking about wild. We were at the Kemper Arena the night after Owen died.
Oh wow!
And they wanted this thing to repel.
What?
Yeah, and he goes, "I'm not going to repel." He said, "It's just out of respect, I'm not." So if you remember, that's the night that we did the New Blood did the show ended with like a bunch of blood hitting the ring, and Sting was hanging upside down, and we're beating him up. He didn't want to repel.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty distasteful to. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Let's see. Stiffest worker that you've ever worked with.
Vader.
It seems to be.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite guy to work?
Steve Austin.
Is there a reason?
You know what? I take it back. Believe it or not, because of the times, because Steve would be second though for sure, but because of how many times we wrestled and them being a tag team, I would say my favorite person to wrestle, for without a shadow of a doubt, the more I think about it, is Booker T. And of all things, that's the match I got fired over because it was so bad. So stupid. For starters, who gets fired over one bad match?
Right. I was going to say, if they fired her, I mean, there'd be firings every week. Yeah.
Fell on our face. You don't fire Buff Bagwell because of that. You go, hey, man, kick out or you're gone. Give me a warning. You know? I didn't get no warning, no nothing, bro. I got booted.
Yeah.
Over.
All right. Let's see. How do you feel about the wrestling world being so open now, like breaking kayfabe, if you will?
I personally don't like it. Like I was at a show last night, and the two guys did a spot that I would like to ask them right now about. If I could have got to them, I'd ask them last night. But they literally walked. They did a spot where they came out of the ring and they went through the curtain. Like, there's a nice little setup, but still, to me, you need two. In other words, I've never, ever, ever came out the same entrance as the guy I wrestled. Never. I would come out of a window of a high school gymnasium before I'd come out the same door of the guy I wrestled.
You mean there should be a heel tunnel and a babyface tunnel, right? Or a curtain?
There used to be a heel and a baby entrance. I mean, so to answer your question, it really bothers me because I was in the era of kayfabe, and I missed the era of the handshake. That was over. You know, that was stupid. But kayfabe, dude, was still kayfabe. I mean, Bill Watts flew us on separate flights. He flew the babies on one plane, and he flew the heels on the other. And that's not too. I mean, for me, that was not too long ago to me in my brain. And he flew us in different airplanes, I mean, different airlines. You know, not different airlines, different planes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. Now we have a bunch of fan questions. Michael Poolnot says, I used to train with Buff at the auction barn in Alpharetta, Georgia with Steve Lawler. He might remember me as Mike Roberts. First, he wants to know, how is John doing?
Wow. Well, I can tell you by all of his questions, he definitely knows. He definitely has been around me. My middle brother's name is John. He did wrestle as the medieval man. And that was his gimmick. I came up with it, and I used the joust as the finish. He'd hold his hand like the
Yeah.
and instead of a boot, it was a joust.
I like that.
To this day, if you ask Mick Foley about that, he will know all about the medieval man. He loved it. He thought it was great.
That's awesome.
Hood, the guy that wears the hood that hangs people.
Yeah.
He wore that hood and and all that stuff. He actually made, if you're a hardcore fan, he made like 2 nitros, like with Mom. When Mom was getting diamond cutted every week. I said, guys, she's 55. Come on, bro. But he actually made my brother John. I said, John, you got to get in a little bit of shape or something, bro, if I can speak up for you, man. And he got in real good shape, and he was a blonde hair, blue eyed, and everybody else in the family was brown and brown, but he was always a little bit, on the thicker, chunkier side, and me and my brother Steve was always on the leaner, lean side, and we're trying to keep weight on us, But there's no doubt about it. He's a Bagwell. There's no doubt. He's Bagwell, but and he's the best athlete in our family. So, but being an athlete, as you know, in this business, don't mean nothing. If I threw a football to Ric Flair and said, throw me a spiral, good luck. You're not going to get a spiral, bro. You ain't going to get a 55-mile-an-hour curveball. Come on. He's not. He's not an athlete. But he's one of the best wrestlers in the world.
I don't know if this is on the list of fan questions, but you just brought up Flair, so I'll ask, like, any Flair stories?
So many, I don't know where they are. The only one I got that's kind of entertaining is he would always come up and I'd say, Rick, I said, what you want to do, bro? And he'd go, I go, you want, because he was a big caught in the ring guy. And he goes, like me saying that, to answer your question, bro, that bothers me. But I know I can nowadays because everybody else is.
Sure.
But a long time ago, that's bad to say that. So I don't like doing that, but everybody else does it. So I just don't want to sound stupid and make people feel stupid. So, like when a kid came up to me one time and goes, y'all come through the same door. What? Y'all in the same room? This is a 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid. And so ever since I heard that, I quit doing it. But anyway, Rick would come up and go, I go, well, what do you want to do? You want to call the ring? You want to call it, He goes, I'll just call the ring. I said, okay. Well, he'd come up about every 20 minutes and tell you something. And I say, Rick, I'm doing this out of respect for you. I don't want to mess it up. I said, let's either go over it back here or call the whole damn thing out there. One or the other. And he'd go, okay, I'll call it out there. I said, okay. 5 minutes go by, he'd come back up. That thing out there we do so and so. I said, Rick, stop. I go, my brain don't do that. I'm going to mess it up for you, bro. So I was trying to talk him into, look, either I can't do half and half. Let's either lay it out back here and, do the best we can out there, or let's do it all out there, one or the other. But you can't do both. But he always wanted to do both. They're not working. I was like, Rick, come on, man. I'm doing this for you. I'm trying not to mess up for you, bro, for you, So he's like, okay. And that's as he's doing his tape around his fingers, he'd do it, Well, that spot we did? Like, come on, brother. But the worst question I get asked, and I hate that, God bless everybody, they want to know, But they go, who's your favorite match? Do you realize the talent that I wrestled? The opportunity I was given in this business to have Terry Taylor's, Ric Flair's, Bobby Eaton's, Ricky Morton's, and they got this young, nice kid that listens to everything they say. And guess what that kid can also do? That kid can also do everything that they call. So they're going to get a good-looking kid that can do everything that puts them over. I mean, I fit right in the perfect spot. I get my brains beat out every week, so I did.
That's awesome. Michael's second part of his question is, do you have a memorable indie worker from back, like before you got your breakthrough?
Do I have a what now?
A memorable, is there anyone memorable that you worked with in your indie days?
Well, you got to realize
maybe somebody that didn't make it, or
my indie. Are you talking about like before I made it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking my indie days are they're still now. So, but back then, I had a guy. I had a guy that I can't remember his name, but I had a guy one time that completely. This guy he looked like Goldberg, dude. Except he was like 7 foot tall. This guy was 350. I mean, jacked, looked great. And of course, he was putting me over and all that, but still, this guy looked fantastic and all, the real nice guy. We get in the ring, and of course, we went over a few little things we were going to do. And so started off, he's a big guy, so we were going to do the tackle, no sell, tackle, no sell, duck, crossbody kind of thing. And he said, I got in the ring, and he looked fine. I got in the ring, and we locked up. I took the head. I said, you ready? Yeah. He shoots me off, and we actually hit face to face. Or at least, I was a little below his head because he was tall, but we hit like frontward. And so I kind of played it off, like we hit like normal. And I was like, what do I do? Well, I hit the rope to do a second time. We hit face to face again. And so I just booted him. Keep in mind, he's 350, so you can't manhandle him. So I took him in the headlock, took him over, and I go, bro, what's wrong? What is going on? And he didn't really say nothing. He kind of just didn't say anything. And I was like, what is going on? So, because it wasn't like a no sell, I'm a bad guy kind of guy. It just happened. And so finally, it got to be so bad that I called something to just pin him real quick and get out of the ring because it was just that horrible. And we get to the back and he's crying. And I go, dude, what in the hell happened? And he said, bro, when I saw you get in the ring with your top hat and everything, he said, I just went completely blank. He said, I marked out completely. It totally blank. I said, blank enough that you don't know it's left to left on a shoulder tackle? On a tackle spot? He goes, I don't remember any of it. I go, no shit.
Jesus.
I remember all of it. That's the worst match I've ever had in my life. To this day, it's the worst match I've had in my life. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Swear to God, I'd give anything to have it. I tried to find it for a while, couldn't. But if I could get it, I would sell it on my website as Buff Bagwell's worst match ever. And I think it would sell because who wouldn't want to see a top guy have his worst match ever that he thought was my worst match ever.
Well, if we find it or one of the viewers do, we'll let you know so you can sell it.
Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
All right.
He's a big
All right.
redheaded guy and looked like, just jacked. Just a big jacked up kid. And just, it was the absolute worst match I've ever had in my entire life.
Poor guy. All right.
I felt sorry for him after that. I was like, well, dude, I said, I'm sorry, man. But I said, damn, I go. I said, I want to say I kind of get it, but I don't. So I can't gonna lie to you. I said, but I'm sorry. If it helps.
Did he ask for a selfie then?
I'm sure he did. They always wait to get everything in your hands too. That's the next thing. Your hat box, you get your bag, and you're like, hey, Bug, I got a selfie. Yeah, almost. And we get all this. Okay, click, and then you go. Hey, then you do it again. Get everything, hat box, and the next guy goes, hey, Bub, can I get a selfie? And I go, hey, if you want a selfie, let's do it. But will you please not wait till I get all my bags in my hands? I'll take 1,000. I'm the nicest guy in the world, but please use some common sense.
All right, Buff.
Okay, now's the worst time possible. Ask now.
You know how the fans like the dirt. So Dion Reedus would like to know about the broken jaw video during your cameo broken jaw video.
To tell you how little she knows, or he knows, or whoever, it's a girl.
We don't know. Yeah, it just.
Regardless, she must not know, or he, or whoever. She don't know because I didn't break my jaw. But I fell and completely knocked out my front 2 teeth, my jaw. I was in a bad spot, bad time. My girlfriend's kid had died. He had passed away on just a freak deal, and it was just a bad time for everybody. And I needed to get these cameos in before they were going to go out. And even Dallas called me after that, and he goes, dude, what are you doing? I said, dude, I had to get it in before. He goes, dude, you were messed up. I said, I know, but I needed to get it in. I felt worse about not getting the cameo in than I did about, and I didn't, of course, when you're messed up, you don't really know you're messed up.
Right.
You don't know it. And so when I saw it back, I was like, oh my God, But at the time, I was just, of all things, I was trying to be a good guy and not get a person's cameo to him. But really, of course it comes out, look at Bagwell being a screw up, when really I was doing it knowing it was wrong, but doing it because I didn't want to hurt this kid's feelings and make sure he got his cameo.
Right.
And still I get the heat for it, and I deserve it. I'll take it. But the point being is, the truth of the story is, from my heart, I was more upset about him not getting what he asked for than my career. So that's how much it bothered me. And I was like, I'm getting this in, So, but it just had to be at a really bad time and in my life, and it was a bad era.
Is the kid that you did the cameo for the one that leaked the video then?
I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't research it because I'm a big. I don't blame people for stuff, bro. I'm a big boy, and regardless of like I said, regardless of me trying to be nice to do it, which I'm telling y'all the truth, that's what happened. But still, if I'd had somebody there with that little bit of sense to say, look, hey, don't, you're not in no shape to do this, bro. You shouldn't do this front on camera. I probably let the kid burn, but that would have killed me too. to know that I didn't give a kid what he wanted. It was something like a birthday too or something,
Yeah.
So, but I don't know how it leaked, but it leaked, of course. And it was, there he goes, Buff again. That guy Buff. Look at it. Look at the idiot.
Well, at least your spirits are good about it, man. I would be pissed.
Bro, the negative thing's done, bro. I just ain't gonna do it. I ain't and can't do it no more. It's just not in my world to be negative anymore. It's just not. And I'm a very, very honest person. That's why I have no things to go over about questions you can't ask me, or you can, because you can ask me anything. I'm going to tell you the answer, the truth, just like I just did. And that's the way I roll. I just don't do it no other way. I don't know how to. I was raised the way to tell the truth, or you got your ass whipped. So I tell the truth, and sometimes people don't like the truth, and that got me a lot of heat too, because a lot of times people don't want to hear it.
Right.
They don't want to hear it,
All right. Moving on to another fan question here. John Brooks Warden. How was it to be in an episode of Charmed?
It was actually really cool. There was I got a buddy of mine who was a big Lucy Milano fan, and so I was able to get an 8x10 for her, for him, from her, and Shannon Doherty was also there then. But then the other one, that was when they had the third witch they had a couple different ones during that stage. And
it was like when with the Ultimate Warrior, right? That's good.
Yeah, she of course had, the worst attitude about, wrestlers. You mean that, that fake stuff, And I was like, oh, you mean that fear that just went in your back and the demon got it out of your back was real? And so she of course didn't like me right away because I told the truth. Hers all of a sudden was real and ours was fake, as they had stand-ins to do the wrestling part.
Right. Yeah, I love when people say that, like wrestling's fake. How can you watch that? It's like every TV show you watch on television is not real.
Well, the boys are taught, believe it or not, and we used to laugh about it, and me and Shane Douglas talked about this just yesterday. We were taught that everything is a work. And we laughed about it when we were younger, but the older we've gotten, we realized that maybe it is. At least a little bit. I mean, even football games. I mean, and it may not be every game, but I think there's a work and a little work in all of it in life. And that's how the old timers and legends taught us that life was a work. And we would be like, it's crazy. Football's not a work. Baseball's not a work. But, the more you look at it and things happen, I think there's a certain amount of work in everything from MMA to wrestling, to baseball, to football, to soccer. I just think everything's got somewhere along the line. There's a little bit of something to help it go the right way.
Absolutely. All right. Jacob Sneeringer would like to know, what was the false name you used during your 2021 arrest?
False name. Oh, he asked me, the cop asked me, I thought he asked me, here's the catch. I knew I was going to jail because I already knew there was a warrant for my arrest, but they wasn't arresting nobody because of COVID. So I literally got pulled over one day because my tag, I didn't know it. My brother didn't fail to tell me. The insurance expired March 1st. It was, of course, March 2nd. And I get pulled over, and there's a female cop, And she goes, and she's taking a long time. I was like, oh boy, this ain't good. This ain't the first time I've been in this seat. And she came back. She goes, there's a warrant for your arrest. She said, but they don't want you right now. And I said, do you have a body camera on? And she said, yes. I said, do you mind repeating that? So she repeated it. She went, there's a warrant for your arrest, but they do not want you at this time. And I went, okay. I said, I just want you to say it again so I could tell somebody else that and then believe me, because no one's going to believe this story. So then happens this guy that says I hit him, which I didn't. And he flashes his lights at me coming up behind me. So I pull over thinking, what's wrong with this guy? He says, I hit him. I said, where? And there's nothing on his car, zero. I mean, no, don't get a camera out, nothing, because there's nothing to picture of. He said, well, something underneath. I said, for starters, who said I hit you? And I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, you hit me at the red light. I said, no, I didn't, bro. So little did he know, by calling the police, I knew I was gone. So when he came up, I was nervous and wasn't listening, but I thought he asked me, who's the car's name in? And I said, Steve Bagwell. And really, I was even wrong about that. The name was, believe it or not, it was in my mom's name. It was in Judy Bagwell's name. I thought it was in my dad's name, just thinking my dad did it. And so I said, Steve Bagwell. And he came back and he said, what's your name was again? I said, Mark. And he said, turn around. And I started handcuffing. I said, what are you saying? What's going on? He goes, you said your name was Steve a minute ago. I said, you asked me what the vehicle. He said, no, I didn't. I said, well, that's what I thought you asked me. I said, why would I give you my cell phone number and tell you a fake name, bro? I said,
Right.
I gave him my cell phone number and gave him a fake name. And the name was my dad's name. I just thought the car was in my dad's name. So that was the name I gave, was Steve Bagwell.
Just a confusion thing.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
Chris Have.
bad luck thing.
Yeah. Chris Have would like to know, did you like the beret or the stove hat better?
Beret or stove hat?
Yeah, your hat. Did you wear a beret at one point?
I've never wore a beret.
No. I never knew about that.
And I don't know what a stove hat is.
Like the stovetop hat, like you have on now.
At the top, okay.
Yeah, like the top hat.
I wore a beret like when I remember like deer hunting with a beret when I was like 13, but I've never wore a beret on TV in my entire life. If you've got a picture of it, please send it to me. I give my address if you want it.
All right. Pittsburgh Living on Instagram would like to know your craziest Scott Steiner story.
Me and Lex, and this is just one of them. I'll give you one. Me and Lex and Scotty have an interview coming up, and it's all three of us, and it's me and Lex are doing an interview about Goldberg's match when we wrestled Goldberg when I hit him with the blockbuster, and we buried him, funeral and all that stuff, and well, Steiner was supposed to be in that also, and he wasn't there, so we were going to have to do it without him, and so they were like 10, 9. It was a live interview, and all of a sudden we started hearing rumors that him and Dallas were in a fight, and he had said something about Kimberly that night. I don't know. I'll tell you what city it was. It was Richmond, Virginia. But I don't know what Scotty said, because we were too busy doing our own stuff. But he said something negative about Kimberly. Well, Dallas is pretty tough, but I still wouldn't have gone Scotty if I was him. But he goes to Scotty, and Scotty literally the rumor gets back to us that he's trying to rip Dallas's eye out. And we're hearing, 10, 9, 8, 7. Somehow or another, at 1, he's in the interview with us. He's there, bro. And don't miss a spot. Don't miss nothing. Just boom, 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 boom. We did our whole interview like we had planned, and me and Lex made fun of Goldberg's book or something, and he was doing something else, yeah. So he came from trying to rip Dallas's eyeball out into an interview on live TV.
This is. I'll interrupt real quick. I'll throw one out there too. Legit. Who's like the legit that you've been with? Legit toughest guy? Would you say that you've been with? Either out, or would you say is a legit tough guy?
I always got to throw 3 of them, and it's Ming, Barbarian, and Rick Rude.
That's the
you hear Ming a lot.
Always hear
Ming, Barbarian, you hear a lot, but you may not hear Rick Rude a lot. But man, Rick Rude, he was just a freaking man, bro. I remember having a match with him, a world title match, and we're sitting there, and we'd gone over the match downstairs at center stage, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him in the ring, and I go, like he's looking behind me or something. So I look behind me like he's looking at somebody. I look back, and I realize he's looking at me.
Oh.
And I went, oh, shit. And when you locked up with Rick Rude, you just knew he could do whatever he wanted to do at any time he wanted to do it. So, yeah, he's a badass dude.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that. I've never, because obviously he was built, but he was on this really lean and slender side. I know he's a taller, right. But yeah, you went that. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's also a world champion arm wrestler too. So he was a badass dude. He was. He's the kind of guy I make fun of, like that. He could like shave his arm or his face, and like hair would instantly grow right back.
Yeah, that's me.
He's that kind of guy. It's like, wow. You realize you just shaved that and it just grew right back?
That's like my dad. He just had open heart surgery on Thursday, and they shaved his chest, and it's like all growing back already. And they're like, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
All right. Let's see. Now, I want you to remember our fans. These are not our questions. So, I don't even know how to say this name. Peter Bober, I guess. What do you think about Bret Hart moaning over his career over and over again?
You know what? I really don't know a whole lot about Bret. We haven't ever really sat down and talked. We've never had lunch together. I've always liked him and respected him and watched him and things like that, but I wouldn't be in a position to be able to answer that. I don't really know about him moaning. I've heard the stuff about the kick. I just recently got showed the kick that Goldberg hit him with that supposedly caused whatever. So recently, like last week or so, just ironically.
Yeah. Well.
So I don't really know that part of Bret being that way. I don't know.
Sure.
So I'm not able to answer that.
Fair. The second part of his question is, how different would things have gone if HBK would have joined WCW in 1997? Shawn Michaels.
We didn't need him. Why would we need HBK when we already had 10 stars? We need 11. I mean, that's kind of what happened. And I mean, not that he's not great, not that he's an excellent worker. I don't know Shawn. I don't know him that well. Kevin Nash may be able to answer that question better than I would, because I don't know Shawn. I've only met him a few times, and it was brief. But anybody joining us, I don't think NWO could have been any better than it was, period.
Yeah.
No matter who joined us. You know, so
Yeah,
I don't think it would have made a difference.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I mean, you weren't going to get any. I mean, granted, a good worker obviously can't hurt, but I mean, you weren't going to get any bigger than the third man being Hogan.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. You got the talent, the talent that was in that ring, the talent that came out when the, you know, when that came on, the talent that came out. I mean, what's one more piece going to do? Just okay. All right, there's one more star, but we had a pretty good lineup, bro.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Chris Adam would like to know, is there a botched move in any of your matches that sticks out that you remember?
Botched move. Yes. I hip tossed myself wrestling Barry Windham one night. Because I was real young, I was a rookie, I was nervous. And the spot I thought was a hip toss. So when I got beside him, I just did the move. I just hip tossed myself. He didn't move. I just did a frontward flip landing on my back.
Oh, that's incredible.
Wish that was on video.
Oh, it is. It was a television taping. It was like a Saturday night taping or something, but it was on TV somewhere.
Well, I'll look for that.
Yeah, look for it. Oh, it's classic. I just give a ghost hip toss.
Let's see. We're getting down to the wire here. Brandon Hauser would like to know, would you ever wrestle again, not in WWE or AEW, but in a different company to maybe possibly help a promoter?
Absolutely. I mean, I'd wrestle again, period. I'm going to wrestle again, period. It's just, I don't, you know, I say that I'm going to at least do indie shows. I'm not saying somebody of AEW style or WWE style would ever hire me or will hire me, but you know, who knows? I mean, at the same time, I'm just 52. And you know, I know once my knee gets better, I'll still be able to go. And so, you know, a lot of guys forget that. A lot of people forget that I'm 12 to 13. I'm 12 to 14 years younger. Almost any name you would say right now, I'm at least 12 to 14 years younger than. So not that that's dogging anybody out. That's just telling the facts. But almost anybody you can name, I'm in the 12 to 14 year range of being younger than. So that's a long time, bro. That's a lot. So I'm just 52, bro. So I got another run left, you know, and I'm gonna prove it.
Awesome. Would you ever consider coming to AEW as in like a managerial role?
Oh, absolutely. That's actually what I'd love to do. Cause I want to show somebody and teach somebody and tell somebody something. I don't want to do it again. I already did it. I want to show somebody how to do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome. All right. Let's see. Robert the Love Bug Butts. Who was your favorite tag team partner? And you already said I think you said your favorite match already, right? You said you can't pick a favorite match.
The favorite match is tough on me.
Right.
God, what do you say? I mean, Flair. Wait a minute, you wrestled Piper too. Wait a second, you wrestled Hogan. Wait a second, you wrestled Luger. Wait a second, you wrestled Sting. I mean, I can't even say that. It just I had a lucky enough time to get taught by a bunch of great talent. Is all I can tell you.
Yeah.
But your first part of that question was
favorite tag team partner.
Oh God, don't make me do that. And you know what? And to be honest with you, they all are even because they all were about the same distance of time. They all were really true friends of mine. We all became world tag. Every time I was with somebody, we became champs. Every time. I don't think I was ever in a title. I don't think I was ever in me and Norton never became champs. But that's only because I broke my neck. I think Vicious and Delicious would have been the next tag team champs if I went and broke my neck, but we were vicious and delicious the night I broke my neck with Steiner, Rick Steiner, and Lex. And then when I came back ready to go, Norton was in Japan, and so they put me with Scotty. And then me and Scotty had a hell of a run.
Yeah. All right. I saved the dirt questions here for the you know how the fans are, Buff. They want to know some nasty shit, man.
Oh, give it up.
All right. Ray Brower would like to know, have you ever been urinated on, and what does something like that cost?
Wow. I can give him a price, but I ain't never had it happen.
All right. Well, we know Ray. So
somebody pissed on me, maybe $500,000, and no, it's never happened. So if you come up with $500,000, give me a call. I'll let you piss all over me. Because you know what? That shit washes off, and that $500K goes right in your bank, baby.
That's amazing. All right. This was one of my questions. When you were partying and not sober, what was your drug of choice?
Soma
Coma, baby.
Soma Coma, bro. That was the deal. That was everybody's. It was the easiest, best, less hurtful on your body, in and out of your system the quickest. But of course, when you start doing 15s and 20s and 30s and 40s of them, it gets dangerous. But when you come off midnight nitro and you're tired, and you're amped to the gills, and you're starving, you need to eat, and you're not hungry, you can take a couple of sodas, drink one beer, and you're tired and hungry. You eat, go to sleep, wake up, and go train. I mean, if that's not addictive, what the hell it ain't? I mean, it was like the perfect wrestler drug to do, because it got you unamped quickly. Instead of drinking a 12-pack, you drank a couple of beers and a couple of somas, and we had it under control for a long time. I mean, we were really, we did it forever, but we did it correctly. But then it got out of hand. The more everything else got out of hand, like everything does, and there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the wrestling business back in 2000 and 2001, and I know all about the Soma Coma.
Soma Coma, bro. Soma Coma.
All right, Big Papa Chunk would like to know, have you ever heard your episode of Crime in Sports? There's a
no.
I tried listening to it. Those guys they're basically just a podcast that are, I don't know if they make money or
are they real mean to me?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I've heard about it, but no, I haven't heard it myself. I just heard about this company that does that, and they dog you out. And I said, what did they say? And they told me a few things, and I said, dude, in this business, bro, I said, if you can't let water run off your back, you ain't never gonna make it anyway. So right. I don't give a shit what they think about me. All I can tell you is, let's check wallets and pocketbooks and photographs and stardom and autograph signings, and let's see who wins.
Right.
Okay, so I got a quick one. I don't know if it was on the list or not. I got to know though, how the hell was it your agent or whatever? How did you end up getting on Gigolos?
Believe it or not, I got on there without even talking to them. We was on the flight out there, and I said, I just realized I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't sign a contract or nothing yet. I said, how do they know that Buff Bagwell's really even coming? And he goes, I'm good. But the guy's name was Kevin Ballou. He's dead now. And he actually, where it came from is it was me. I came up. I said, "Look, bro, I had that wreck. I had a wreck, my Jeep wreck, the one where I had a seizure, and I just came home from rehab. So they gave me a DUI because they heard about Bagwell had a wreck. So, of course, he was drunk or he was messed up. Well, the toxicology report came back, and it was nothing in it because I just had got home from rehab. So I literally just had a seizure, which was medically called a withdrawal seizure. And it's from coming off medication that you've been on for a long time. And I came off that medication, and I had a seizure, and I wrecked my Jeep. But before I wrecked my Jeep, though, my other manager had got me to switch my phone number, go to rehab, and I was going to go work for his company and quit wrestling. And so my number had been changed. 7 days later, I wrecked my car. He dies. Then 7 days later, I wrecked my car. So he's dead now. Then I wrecked my car, and no promoters got my number. They don't know if I'm alive or dead. They don't know if I'm quitting or I called Kevin up and I said, it's time to whore me out. And he goes, I got the show. And I said, give him a call. And we did it.
That's awesome. Yeah. So that particular question wasn't on the list, but Saw Dummy would like to know, what is the largest, and I don't know if this is the same or separate questions. What is the largest and oldest woman that you provided your gigolo services to?
60 and about a 9. She was a knockout.
Well, that's awesome. I think this guy was probably asking what the fattest. Was he asking the fattest?
Yeah,
I think
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'd keep in mind, you don't have to do nothing. I get paid no matter what. So it's all up to you. In other words, the contract don't state I got to do anything. So,
you just got to hang out.
Yeah, we just hang out. So I do what I want, but 60 would be the age. So, and she was about, like I said, she's about a 9.5.
All right.
She was knockout.
There you go. Saw Dummy. Rogelo Rodriguez would like to know, was this at Gigolos or during Gigolos? Did you work at the Bunny Ranch?
I can't even tell you where that's at.
Yeah, maybe that person was confusing it with the show.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what the Bunny Ranch is. I think I've heard that in a movie or something. Is it a whorehouse? It's outside of
Vegas. It's a whorehouse, but I don't think there's dudes that work there. But
yeah, I always thought it was.
I remember we went to South Lake Tahoe, and I remember my buddies going to a place like that where they washed them off, they clean you, and then you're like, it's like a whorehouse. And I remember it, I think, being called Bunny something. So that'd been Reno.
Okay, yeah, I think it is around there. Yeah.
Yeah, because Reno, you got to go. You land in Reno to go to South Lake Tahoe. But I was with my parents and my wife on that trip. But they went to down there to check this place out, hearing about it. And but I think it was called the Bunny something. Yeah, I do remember that. But I wasn't there.
All right, last question. And I have no idea why people ask this. Jim Clout Villain would like to know, how big is Batista's dick?
I've never been in a shower with him.
Yeah, I mean, you guys never even worked together, right?
Never even worked with him, so it'd be really hard to tell what size his dick is. Right? Wow, that'd be a tough one. I got the fag rumor stopped on me after I told the guys were doing the fag thing on me, because every pretty boy gets the fag thing. They were doing the fag thing on me, and being gay and fag and all the bad words to me, and I'm like, I said, guys, wait a minute. I said, wait a minute. I said, y'all know me real good, right? And they go, yeah. I go, when's the last time you seen me win a match? And they were stunned. They were like, you haven't? I go, I must be sucking the wrong dick. And they just all busted out laughing. And I never heard another gay joke after that. I said, dude, if I suck a dick, I'm going to be the world champion. So let's clarify that right right now. The world heavyweight champ.
Thank you so much, man. This has been awesome.
Yes, appreciate your
Tell
time.
everyone where they can find you.
Go to MarcusBuffBagwell.com. Will take you everywhere. It'll take you to my calendar. It takes you to my all my social media stuff. It takes you everywhere. So that gives you a one-stop. I wanted a one-stop shop kind of place, and that's the only reason I can use their website's kind of old now, but really for that they're good. You have them for to give information out, and also my DVDs are on there and T-shirts and there's a lot of cool 8x10s and stuff too. But at the same time, you can really find out anything you want to know about me at any time on MarcusBuffBagwell.com.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much. And we're gonna wrap up here. We're gonna let you go, and then Sammy and I are gonna wrap up. Thanks so much, man. We really
Thanks,
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
guys so much, man.
Good luck with everything. We'll root
I
for you.
enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, brother.
See you guys.
Sammy.
Need JR to say it.
I know. I couldn't figure out how to load the soundbite. How great was that, man?
Sammy.
Thanks so much for joining me on this.
Of course.
Do you want to do any plugs for yourself where people can find
if
you?
If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can. That's at the real SCAV. But that's about it.
All right. And you can find all of our great shows on our network over at theden.show. You can support our show at Patreon by going to patreon.com/Deluxe Edition Pod. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Deluxe Edition Pod. All of our shows are also on deluxeedition.show, and we have some merch over at whatamaneuver.net and /collection/Deluxe Edition. So check that out. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sammy. It's good seeing you again, brother.
Yeah, you too.
And we will see everyone next week.
Later.